Hi, awesome third graders. Good morning to Cameron and Cassius. Hi to Amaya and Dream. Hello to Journey and Kennedy. And good morning to Alicia and Demarvion. I'm so happy that you guys are here with me to review our week 7 packet. This is going to go from Monday, May the 4th through Friday, May the 8th. As always, this very first page of your packet gives you some ideas about your goals this week, especially for math, which I think is really fabulous. I saw this hint here. We're going to work on some area, and that's what we were working on when we left school, so I'm really excited that we'll get to do that today. There are some tools down here for reference for you. We have a place value chart and a hundreds chart if you would like to use those tools. All right, page 1 are subtraction word problems. So just like before, when you do a word problem, you're going to make sure first and foremost to read carefully. Make sure you know what the question is asking you, and then use the information to find that answer. We can expect, because the title is subtraction word problems, that in all of these we will be subtracting. Just to review the first one together, here are the directions. Read and answer each question. Here's the beginning of our little story that sets us all up. Winter is almost here, and most animals are migrating to warmer countries. Okay. So problem number 1. There are 67 bird families living near the mountain. If 32 bird families flew away for winter, how many bird families were left near the mountain? So right there, it's asking me, I'm going to first, since I read it very, very carefully, I'm going to underline the question, how many bird families were left near the mountain? Okay, so that's the question I really need to find out. My answer is going to be a certain number of bird families who are still by the mountain. So reading again, there are 67 bird families living near the mountain. So that's what we start with. 67 bird families. Okay. If 32 bird families flew away for winter. Okay, so flying away, I know that means I'm going to take that number off. So it's a minus problem, which is what I expected. Minus 32. And I just like to set my problem up vertically. It helps me to keep my place values together, my ones place and my tens place together. You can use any strategy that you like. So this is how many are leaving. How many are left over? So I want to know the difference between what I started with and what I have after 32 left. So then I'm going to start always in my units place. 7 minus 2 is 5. And then 6 tens, take away 3 tens. I've got 3 tens left over. 35 is my answer. That's the difference. And because it's a word problem, I want to make sure I label my answer. So I will say, the question is, how many bird families are left? My statement would be 35 bird families are left near the mountain, but I'm just going to label it 35 bird families. I am using my best handwriting for writing backwards and upside down. 35 bird families. Okay, so again, just read carefully. It is possible always that there's extra information or unnecessary information, so make sure you're reading really carefully and answer the remaining 4 questions. Here is what I am very excited about this week. On your next page, finding the area of a rectangle using a rectangular grid. Now, we had done this, but it's been a while, so it's probably good to start back here and remind ourselves how to do this with the grid. If each square is 1 centimeter, okay, find the area for the shape shown below. Now, it's 1 centimeter squared. See that notation? I'm not talking about 1 centimeter in a line right? That would just be a line. 1 centimeter is a line. Once you tell me that it's squared, it shows me, just like an array, it's 1 centimeter wide by 1 centimeter tall. So it's a 1 centimeter square. Now, there are two ways to tackle these problems that have these grids on them. The very first way to tackle this problem is just to count the squares. And so I would say, well, here's 1 centimeter squared, 2 centimeters squared, 3 centimeters squared, 4 centimeters squared, or 4 square centimeters. And I will write 4 centimeters squared with my proper notation. Okay, I just counted the squares and I wrote that down. That works okay for small problems. It works okay for problems where they actually have the squares on them. If none of these lines were here and we just had to imagine it because we know the side measurements, we can also use, remember we practiced using multiplication, because basically area is very similar to our arrays. So if you look here on this one, I would say this is 4 wide. Look at me measure. 1, 2, 3, 4 centimeters wide. You see that? 4 centimeters wide here. Okay, and I can see that because of the separation in my blocks, and I know that each side is 1 centimeter long. So I just counted them. That's 4 centimeters one time. There's 1 centimeter on this side. Okay, and 2 times. I did it again. Okay, so this side measurement is 2 centimeters. Okay, so I can see that side measurement there. Now, if I don't feel like counting all those blocks, I know my math facts. 4 times 2, I can multiply, and I can see it's the truth because here's 4 one time and here's 4 2 times. So I can take my side measurements. 4 times 2 equals 8. But again, I'm not talking about 8 centimeters in a long line. I'm talking about 8 squared centimeters. So I'm going to make sure to put my notation up there. So whether you're counting or you're multiplying, which is what I'm going to recommend because we're not always going to have squares. So whichever strategy you're using though, make sure that you're writing the correct notation and write the area for the rest of these blue rectangles. And that just kind of gets our juices, our brain flowing back to where we were when we were still in school. So it's good. We're kind of coming back around. The next page here is your ELA assignment for the week. It's called Phases of the Moon, which is really interesting. Just recently they've been talking about maybe another supermoon happening, some different full moons. So this is interesting information. So make sure that you read it all very carefully once or twice. If you would like to read to me or to Miss Nancy, please send us a message in Schoology, or you can read with a grown-up or a sibling at home. Make sure you're reading carefully. You can pause this video and read first and then listen to the questions, or you can listen to the questions right now so that they're in your mind while you read, whichever strategy works best for you. But we will review the questions. Number 1, what is meant by a phase of the moon? Title's Phases of the Moon. They're going to explain what that is and answer the first question with evidence. Come back to the story, use your evidence from the story, and write a phase of the moon means. Okay? Number 2, why does the moon appear to be different sizes? There's a clue right there. It says appear. Is the moon really changing size? We've talked about this in class as well. So you probably have some good background knowledge, but make sure again that you are using the information from the passage to say the moon appears to be different sizes because it's a why question. You're probably going to have a because answer. What are the 2 phases during which the moon appears almost full but not quite? So it says, what are the 2 phases? I'm guessing that they are then going to give us a name for those phases here in the passage. So make sure you're coming back, get the correct name for those 2 phases. The 2 phases are called. Okay? What are the 2 phases during which the moon appears as only a tiny sliver? Okay, so again, 2 names during which the moon appears to be a tiny sliver. Number 5, what is your favorite phase of the moon and why? Now here you get to pick one. Okay, so they've gone through some different moon phases. You get to pick one. What do you like? But then also, why? Why is that your favorite? And as long as you have a real answer, then and it matches. So I wouldn't say, oh, I like a full moon because there's no light. Would that be right? No, you have to make sure you're using true information to back up your opinion. On the back of that page is your self-assessment. How did I do on this assignment? Super, I'm a rock star. Meh, meh, I'm okay. Ugh, I can do better if I do better next time. Okay? Then, as usual, on the bottom of that page is your fine arts directions. It says, using a pencil and or colored pencils, markers, and or crayons, students will complete each assigned sketchbook page. So here is your next sketchbook pages on here. Follow the directions on your sketchbook pages. Make sure your work is neat, detailed, and interesting. And so on the back of that page is a sketchbook page. And on mine, it's not the greatest copy, but luckily, I think you guys have been through color wheel assignments, rainbow order before with Miss Stephanie. So go ahead and draw on that knowledge. The traditional color wheel is how artists arrange colors. Red, yellow, and blue are called the primary colors. These colors are used to mix the other colors. Orange, violet, and green are the secondary colors. Colors like blue, violet, yellow, orange are called tertiary. I love that word, tertiary, or intermediate colors. So here's a color wheel for you to fill in, and you kind of have to look. There's red. It's right here at the top, and you can kind of see it's a little blurry, but you can see it. So you're going to color in red. Here's yellow, and here's blue. So those are the primary colors they talked about. And then in between, right halfway between red and blue, is violet. And halfway in between red and yellow is orange. And halfway in between blue and yellow is green. Okay, so those are your secondary colors. Then look at this. This is blue and yellow, make green, but then in between the green and the yellow is this tertiary color called yellow-green. Okay, so use your colored pencils or your crayons. You might have to do some light layering to mix those colors until your color wheel looks is completed. Follow the words that are on here, follow what you know about color mixing, and fill out your color wheel. Then down here, color the rainbow in order, and it has this Roy G. Biv hint for you, which we know is red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. And so knowing what we know about the color wheel, that color indigo can kind of throw people off sometimes, but it's between blue and violet. So it's going to be a blue-violet kind of color. So you're coloring in your rainbow. This is kind of a fun color mixing project. On the back is your music page for this week. The directions are: make a list of your favorite songs over the past several years and things about them that you like the most. So that's the very first thing that you're doing, is you're going to list my favorite songs. And then what elements of these songs cause you to like them over others? There's 500 jillion, it's not a real number, songs in the world. Why did you pick these 4? What makes you like them more than something else? It could be a lot of things. Maybe it's the rhythm. Maybe it makes you want to dance. Maybe it makes you feel happy. Maybe you really like what the words say. So it's really think about, why are you choosing these 4 songs? Okay, you're going to write that here. That's just direction number 1. Make your list, write down why you like them. And then direction number 2, write a paragraph about your personal preferences of music using some of these descriptors that you came up with and any other information that affects your personal choice of music. So you've got your list, you have the things that you like most about those songs, and down here you're going to turn all of that into a paragraph about your personal preference. And here's a really interesting hint for this. Use these ideas and share a clear, positively stated statement. Okay, now that means you're not saying, I don't like this, I don't like that, none of this. You want to say, I do like. Okay, you're going to put it in the positive. I do like, I want this, I like more of this. That someone could use to make a recommendation of a new song that you might like. So you want to be really clear. You don't just want to be like happy music. That might be one of the elements. Like I like something happy and upbeat that makes me feel excited, but I like it to be calm, or I like it to make me want to dance. So you have to be very specific because this is information that someone else could use. They could read your paragraph and go, you know what? I think I can find a song, a new song for you that you are going to like. So make sure you're very, very clear in your description. If you would like to share with Miss Camille any of your favorite songs, reasons that you like them, or your personal recommendation paragraph, I would be super interested to see that because I always like learning more about you. So that is your work for this week. I hope that you are having a wonderful week. Please stay safe, do good work, and I will talk to you soon.